VIP. Let's kick it.
Welcome back. So last time we were talking about water and the quality of your water, especially when making ice. You know, you spend a lot of money on these spirits. It doesn't matter if it's a $20 rum or gin or whatever. I mean, you spend $20, you spent $100 maybe on a single malt Scotch whiskey, so you gotta pay attention to the quality of the water you're using. So since we were talking about water last time, I just thought that we'd start talking about ice molds, which is a whole nother ballpark. And there's just so much there to cover, as you could see. You know, there was enough for a whole nother episode. I try not to bore you too much, so I like to keep the episodes to about 5 minutes each. So, okay, so speaking of which, we'll start with the first one, the most complicated. This is Tavolo. They make pretty decent products. I mean, they're just overly complex. So starting with Tavolo, this was the single ice cube. Now what happens is you have all these different compartments. You must have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different pieces here. You got to fill this sucker up with water, okay? You got to put it together. You got to get these exactly right, or they're gonna leak and all that other jazz. And you're gonna have all this water all over your freezer, and then you're gonna have to defrost the freezer just to get one ice cube. So if you don't get these things put together perfectly well, perfectly tight, it's gonna spill, it's gonna leak right into your freezer. You're gonna have a mess to clean up. So you go like this, you press it in. Now keep in mind, this is gonna expand. So I wish there was a way to keep this tight. I mean, there's not even water in here yet, and we can't get it to join completely. So you fill it up with water. You never know how much. This takes a long time. This is like the longest time I've ever taken to make a single ice cube. And then what happens is you have these cubes. You take it apart. The bottom, keep in mind that the bottom one will be cloudy and the top one won't be. Again, you think you're getting 2 ice cubes. You are, but one's cloudy. If you're looking for clear ice, this is not the best solution. Again, the rabbit that I showed you in the last episode is probably the best, or the polar ice. Again, this one's a bit difficult. It produces one large cube. It's a beautiful ice cube. It's a beautiful system. Again, you're only making one at a time. So we're all familiar with the basic ice cube. There's nothing wrong with this. You could use any kind of water you want. You know, use the stuff from the shopping center. If you want to get fancier, use whatever your favorite bottle of water is. You could use these. The ice cubes are going to be cloudy. No big deal to most people. Shouldn't be, really. It's not going to affect the taste, but it will melt faster because all those little bubbles, as the ice melts, it's going to continue to melt much, much faster. Now we're talking about Tavolo. So that's the Tavolo. Another one they make is this, and this I thought was going to be kind of cool. These are like little tikis. You know, when you're making your Polynesian drinks, you put one in there, really wow your guests if you're really into the tiki thing. Unfortunately, the clear ones that they show you on the front of the box is probably made with some sort of clear plastic resin. They don't look like that. They're going to crack. They don't form right. They're cloudy. Again, just a novelty. Another tiki mold. These cool moa from the Easter Island. Very, very cool. They don't look like that. When they come out, they're cloudy. You can barely tell the figures in there. You got to be aware of gimmicks like that. And as you can see, I probably spent $100 on all of this stuff. But I like testing it out. I like toys. Again, this is going to be the best one that I mentioned in the last episode. It's got 15 in here. Or if you want the larger cubes, this is going to make 6. These are both, I think you can buy them both for less than $10. Maybe even cheaper in a dollar store. But these tiny ones, they're good for shaking. Put these into your shaker. These larger ones are good for when you have your rocks glass and you just want to put one single one in there. Again, for your finer whiskeys and you want it to melt slowly, these are great. Here's another one by Polar Ice. This is kind of, I think it's called the Pong. And then you just open it up, you whack it, you get all these beautiful different pieces and you don't get uniformity. This one, again, another fail. It's silicone. They come out real easily, but the whole idea was that they freeze like rods so you could put them in taller glasses. I don't know if I have one here. Okay, I have one right here. But didn't work out very well. They melt really fast. Again, not my favorite, but I didn't pay that much for that one. This one, these ice spheres are really cool, but this, again, this unit, I don't know how they do this. I guess you got to fill it up partially with water, put the mold in, fill it all up. You're gonna have some spillage. At least it doesn't leak in the freezer. And then you got to take these out, and then you have these little round spheres. So you have a wide variety of choices. Again, this one's probably the best. It's the cheapest, it's the most economic, no fuss, no muss. I mean, these are silicone, they pop out of here, no problem at all, unlike this one. And from there, how fancy you get, whether it be a supermarket water for less than $1, or your French, or your Italian, or even your water from one of the islands, Hawaii, whatnot, you want to pay $3 a bottle, that's entirely up to you. But these are your choices in ice molds.